I would like to share my story with you. I'm 10. I'm in Singapore. The doors at my feet open. 3 people stand outside the ambulance. The speaker's face is blurry. The other 2 people stand in the background. I can tell one is a man and one is a woman. They seem familiar, but their voices carry no memories. They speak a language I don't understand, say my name in an accent. There's a strong fear building inside me, and the longer it stays there, the more nervous I get. I'm 10. I'm in and out of consciousness. I can't conjure a single thought. My brain is a black hole. I keep seeing faces popping in and out of my field of view. Only 2 faces look vaguely familiar. I close my eyes because the burning hurts too much. Below the neck, I am numb. I am 10. I wake up once more and recognize my mom and my dad. The nurse tells me words like MRI and EEG. I'm in the best children's hospital in Singapore, and I have no memories of the past 24 hours. Why can I not remember anything? I'm discharged from the hospital with an epilepsy diagnosis, a condition that causes unprovoked and unexpected seizures. I'm told that some things are going to change, that I am to take pills in the morning and at night, that I am to swim in bright-colored swimsuits, that I am to never be alone. I'm 11. I try to change, and for the first time, I feel an urge to cover up. I look around to make sure nobody is looking and slip my swimsuit on over my underwear. It is unclear whether I do so because I don't want anybody to see me or because the thought of my vagina being part of my body repulses me. I feel embarrassed, shy, walking out of the changing room. My body feels exposed, needing to cover itself under a towel or more clothing. I'm 11 and I quit swimming. Swimming was everything to me. I was swimming 8 times a week and could not imagine myself anywhere but a pool. The decision is made in a cold and emotionless body, in a body that was holding way more than my brain could handle. My body frequently went numb after that day. This new feeling became a new normality. My brain seemed focused on so many bigger things, none of which I could grasp. I was distracted, unable to formulate thoughts into feelings, and vice versa. I'm 11, and I wake up in the couch of a classroom with my mom looking at me. I had no memories of that morning. I'm told I had difficulty opening my locker, both being unable to turn the lock and forgetting the code. I'm told I did not recognize my teachers, my classmates, my friends. I'm told that I did not respond when my name was called. That morning is a scratch on the CD, a glitchy computer screen, a room with the lights off. I'm 12 and I moved to Boston. I meet with the head of epilepsy at Boston Children's who prescribes my medication once again, confirming that epilepsy is an accurate diagnosis despite lacking sufficient evidence. I don't have memories of about 3 hours of every single day. I have what we call absences, states of confusion that last for hours. My doctor likes to call them pseudo-seizures. I'm 12 and I'm tired of my medication not working. I am tired of being told I am just stressed. I am tired of my doctors not listening to me. I'm 13 and I'm told, "Congratulations, you have graduated from epilepsy." So what do I have? Oh, I have no idea. He suggests I see a behavioral therapist. She tells me I'm stressed and should practice my breathing. I'm 14 and I see a psychoanalyst 3 times a week. I'm having 2 absences a day, meaning that 6 hours of my day are blank. I'm offered antidepressants 1 more time. I say no 1 more time. I'm 14 and Lucy shows up for the first time. The nurses are about to drug test me. Lucy tells my brother that she comes when Carlotta cannot cope because Carlotta is weak. A possibility of split personality is brought up, but quickly dismissed when my absences go back to how they used to be. Lucy comes back regularly after that day. She draws a taxi, she draws a bridge, she draws an Asian man with glasses but no mouth. You told Carlotta that the first time was supposed to be special. I'm 14, and thanks to my mom, who has started studying psychology because of me, we find the right new doctor and get the final correct diagnosis: post-traumatic stress disorder that carries dissociative identity disorder, formerly known as split personality. The journey has just begun 4 years later. 4 years of my youth have been lost. 4 years of misdiagnosis in the best hospitals of 3 separate countries. I'm 15 and my new treatment called neurofeedback allows me to access the memories again through an extremely long series of incredibly exhausting sessions. Session after session, the physical sensations add up, and the visual memories then join, a process that would take 3 years to complete. As part of the recovery of memories, I re-experience everything once again. For those 3 years, I wake up shaking. I go to the bathroom and see my blood-stained underwear knowing I am not on my period. I have to hide all this because nobody would understand. I'm 15 and I am stuck with no emergency exit, no brakes. His voice pounds persistently against the walls of my brain, his hands close tightly around my neck. I am once again reliving the event, sitting in the taxi. He's forcing my legs open and tears start rolling down my cheeks slowly. I become numb. Fear powers over every single one of my emotions. I can't talk, I can't see, I can't feel. I don't feel human, I don't feel alive. He is done. I am 15 and I now know that I was raped in a taxi in Singapore while on my way to morning swimming practice. I know that I am just reliving it and regaining all the memories again. I also know this feels just as real. I'm 15 and I decide to homeschool because on most days I can't even stay in school due to the heavy re-experiencing and exhaustion. My friends still don't know anything and think I just have some crazy episodes. I don't return to school until the following year. I'm 16, and in the constant fight, there are days in which he wins. Days in which my body is too weak to handle the continuous trauma. Days in which I can't stay in school because the voice in my ears is too loud, or the smell in my nose is too strong. Days in which no matter the number of things I put in my mouth, it still tastes like him. As I recover more and more memories, at night I stay awake listening to him whisper to me, feeling his fingers going up and down my swimsuit strap, his other hand roughly moving up and down my thigh. I stay awake lying on my back because if I move, he might get the wrong idea and maybe try to kill me. I stay awake, my brain gathering any means possible to deal with the extreme fear it is experiencing. I stay awake and feel more naked than I did to begin with as clothing articles are removed from my non-consensual body. I stay awake for the fear that if I fall asleep, everything might become too real. I stay awake because the voice in my ears is too loud, the smell in my nose is too strong, and my own saliva still tastes like him. I'm 17, second year of treatment, we begin the session. I recollect that he removed his hand from my neck and sat up. I remained frozen. It was then that he spoke again and said, "Take your clothes off." Without a second thought, I began undressing. Without a second thought, I removed my clothing articles one by one as the chills ran through me, as my self-respect left me. A void remained as he placed me back in the position he wanted. A painful embarrassment, shame, blame, disgust, disrespect for my body, these emotions all came together and stayed. I am now 19, and the memories still haunt me. I still dream sometimes. I still think twice before deciding what to wear at night. I still freeze when someone grazes my leg on the subway. I still cry. I still partially blame myself for what happened, and I still wonder whether I will be an overprotective mother to my children. I am 19. 9 years have passed, and I am still not fully healed. I am 19, and I don't think it is possible to fully heal. For months, I was waking up with bloody underwear, shaking, thinking dreams were becoming reality. For years, I relived my rape every time I stepped into school like that morning. For years, I lacked a functional social life and despised my body and all the feelings that came with it. Just recently, I was finally ready to step back into society. I was ready only to realize society wasn't. Throughout my journey, there were very few times that I was greeted with open arms, beginning with my close family. It was only this year that my grandparents accepted that my story was not made up for attention. My own brother struggled to believe my reality until he met my most known personality, Lucy. My teachers were defensive, not letting me discuss topics relating to sexual assault along with the rest of the class. My peers have asked me what I was wearing, and whether I did anything that could have possibly turned on a taxi driver in his 50s. To make things worse, several medical professionals across 3 different countries were unable to diagnose a textbook case of post-traumatic stress disorder. But this is not about me. This is the story of the many who have gone through similar trauma and the endless missteps in spotting the issue and supporting the healing process. The problem is that we are convinced that sexual assault happens once, that it's just one day or one night. Trauma haunts you every single day of your life. And instead of being able to talk about it, survivors are forced to hide their struggle from the public's eye. In the society we have created, there is shame in being sexually assaulted, embarrassment in sharing that story. This pattern is a problem because we decide not to fight our community's separation. We are afraid we will be uncomfortable, afraid we will have to face the difficult experiences and feelings. Refusing to openly speak about it, we make a survivor's life unbearable, creating environments where they are labeled as crazy or bruised or victims. The current stigma is preventing survivors from being diagnosed and discussing their stories, prohibiting them from fully taking part in everyday life. The gaps in education and practice in the medical field lead to an estimated 90% of people with PTSD being undiagnosed. I feel it is important to mention that I have been extremely lucky in my process, having a family who fully supported me through my treatment and struggles, finding the correct professionals who were able to stand by me, and being in a school system malleable enough for me to succeed within it. These are all reasons why I'm able to be here today and want to be here today. These are all factors that have helped me heal and grow, and factors need to be ensured as much as possible to each and every survivor. I'm aware that this is not an easy conversation. Let me assure you, none of this was easy for me to say either. But there's no point in trying to make it an easy conversation because rape is not easy, PTSD is not easy, and living in our society as a survivor is the furthest thing from easy. In recent years, we have taken major steps forward in fixing the issue by making voices heard and taking steps against attackers. We must now take the final step to fix this issue. We not only need to rewire the way we think and talk about the issue, but also the actions we take surrounding it. We need to help survivors gain back their fullest lives, which means they are spotted early, offered correct treatment, and fully included in a society that no longer stigmatizes them. This can be done in 3 simple steps. Firstly, medical professionals need to be properly and constantly trained for early detection, learning the differences between similar symptomatology and PTSD. In a study conducted in the UK in 2020, more than 40% of clinicians had not received training in working with and recognizing PTSD. Our doctors need to abandon the thought that if someone was assaulted, they are aware and ready or even able to disclose. Following this, the correct treatments need to be provided to every single survivor. Secondly, schools, universities, and educators need to teach consent and the result of lack of consent clearly in health classes and curriculums, not waiting until high school to discuss topics that permeate our everyday society. Unfortunately, 1 in 9 girls under 18 experience a sexual assault or abuse, and the least we can do is provide them with the tools to understand and fight the consequences. As of right now, consent is lightly touched in most curriculums, if touched on at all. To give you an idea, less than 25% of the United States is required to teach consent at any education level. Consent needs to be taught differently depending on the age group, of course, but beginning in elementary school, children need to know what is wrong and what is right, as well as the consequences for survivors. Children are our biggest shot at changing the world we live in. Lastly, and maybe most importantly, our communities need to start acknowledging this problem. That's all of us. We need to start talking about assault openly and teaching each other about the struggles of being a survivor. Parents in this room and around the world need to be ready to talk to their kids about assault and the consequences of it, ready to have the difficult conversations inside their own homes. For all of us between friends, we need to hold each other accountable, not letting the harmless comments go unnoticed, and not letting the assault stories we are told go unreported. We need to listen to each other, and in doing so, we can even help spot PTSD cases. We need to stop ignoring and start facing the problem. Survivors need a hand to hold, both metaphorically and literally. They're in this room. They are in our families, they are in our workplaces, our universities, in our sports teams, and elementary schools. The process is hard enough on its own, but we can give them the support they deserve and take as much of the load off their shoulders as we can. I am not here today to solve sexual assault. because unfortunately, we all know that that is not possible. But I'm here today to urge you to take action on everything that is in your power to change today, walking out of this room. Everything that you can do to better the life of the many survivors that are struggling today. It's 3 simple steps, and if we work together, we can do it. Educate yourself, your siblings, your friends, your children. Let's talk about sexual assault, what it is, what it means, the consequences of it. Let's change this pattern of silence. Open your eyes to something that is begging to be seen. Let's talk. Thank you.